Hello, I'm Jessica Jett of Trimungus.
And I'm Mark. Welcome.
We're here with a behind-the-scenes episode with Crystal Fox Films.
Welcome our guests, Mike, Trish, and Arianna. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, our pleasure. All right, let's jump right in. So let's start with the behind the scenes of your company. Tell us a little bit more about Crystal Fox and your mission and some of the things you're trying to achieve with the company.
Yeah, Crystal Fox Films. It's kind of stemmed from Splash Design Works originally many years ago because we've been doing a lot of video production. And then we got into filmmaking, which has been a passion for a long time. But Crystal Fox, how we got Crystal Fox, the name, is because in Star Wars, that Crystal Fox animal is our favorite.
Vulpix.
What is
Yeah,
it?
it's called Vulpix.
Yeah.
Vulpix. That's our favorite animal. It's the coolest animal ever. And then of course our last name is Fox.
Right.
So Crystal Fox, films. And our goal has always been from the get-go to do filmmaking, content, movies, production with passion and with purpose. We've known a lot of filmmakers, a lot of producers, a lot of people, content makers. And their whole goal has been to pump out content and just make money. And I get it, as a business.
Sure.
You have to pump out the content and make money. But when it comes to the films, as a filmmaker and lover of film, in general, for us as a family, our whole thing has been trying to make it quality over quantity. And so, we do it as a family, and I do every aspect, when it comes to the creation and the creatives, from directing, producing, writing, cinematography, DP, and then my wife, she does acting, she does voiceover too, she does AD work, PA, pretty much in any administrative support of our daughter. She pretty much does everything under the sun. But her main things, she is a award-winning actress, but her passion is more crew culture stuff, and that's being a sound boom operator, a sound engineer. And so we all kind of do it as a family, and we do it literally as a family. So wherever we go and whatever we do as far as filmmaking, even if it's just me being hired as a director, we go as a family. And we do it as family. So most of the time, it's kind of a package deal, really.
Of course, yeah, he gets both of our voiceover work and he gets our help in things, and we love to do things together. That's always how we've done it. It's always how we've done Splash Design Works. That's always how we will continue to be doing Crystal Fox Films, because I think we all bring something new and interesting and unique to the table and are all able to kind of help each other out in a way.
And I get a sense that family mentality, you extend it to your cast and crew and all your productions, right? Because
that's a good point, actually, because we try to do opposite of the normal Hollywood culture. Hollywood culture is pretty much, every man for himself. If I don't like how you talk to me, then you're offset, blah, blah, blah. The Michael Bay mentality of, your acts, Nick's, 86, everyone, except, two people, and then bring everybody else new on board. And we don't have that kind of mentality. Our MO is we treat everybody with respect, just like we were talking about. The PA has just as much respect for what they do to help, bring what they bring to the table, as much as as myself or a director or assistant or anybody. And so everybody is treated equally when it comes to respect and their importance to the project. Right. Especially when it comes to say a sound person, sound and boom, which we feel is one of the unsung heroes of filmmaking, because they're never even mentioned, no words for them. But, and just kind of like how you mentioned, they say that you can forgive bad video, but audience won't forgive bad audio. And so the boom operator is an unsung hero, along with the composer and music of a film.
Fine word, I could go off that though.
Yeah,
forever.
I think music can make or
Well,
break a film.
If I must break out the Star Wars reference, people hated the original Star Wars, the first A New Hope, when it first played in small little theaters to people, to like a certain like select audience. And then after they hired John Williams to do the theme and the score, then they played it again and people loved it. There is a clear difference. I mean, Star Wars is Star Wars.
I could not imagine Star Wars without John Williams.
Exactly,
Right? I mean, it's just
exactly.
like, it's almost, to me, it's as important.
It is.
visual.
It is.
Just like you said with the family thing, that and extending it to that cast and crew, we really try to do that. And we've had so many cast members, crew members let us know that they felt so much more welcome there on the set than they have in other places, or maybe previous places they've had a negative experience on set. But they felt that from the time that they come in, and we're welcoming them in as a family, and we're just bringing everyone in, and like he said, making sure that everyone feels that their role is important in it. And even to most of the time, every day at some point, we either in the morning meeting or whatever we have, we'll even give shout outs to everyone, especially if we've been filming for a couple of days or something. We'll give shout outs to everyone who's been working the previous days, from like he said, from the PA to the sound person to everyone, and everyone gets to feel important and like they made a difference in the project.
Yeah, our MO kind of is like it's a no drama zone.
No
Yeah.
divas.
No
No
divas
divas.
and no
No
drama.
divas allowed.
Which,
that's,
you think in the industry, it's like, well, isn't the industry full of divas? And,
yeah, they are.
It is,
Absolutely.
and that's why.
which makes it hard to navigate, right?
So I just feel like it needs to be said, like, this is a very different approach than typical Hollywood. And yes, if you're on the crew and you're getting recognition and respect, obviously that's going to feel good, and you're going to feel like you're part of something bigger, and that's only going to make folks want to do their best and
yes.
really support each
Yes.
other. And because when you feel safe and respected and part of something, you're going to be able to perform at another level.
Yes,
Yeah.
nobody wants to be. I was gonna say, nobody wants to be, doing work that they are not rewarded for or appreciated for, or people don't mention them or anything. For many people, sure, it's great that they have a pay, but it's also awesome to receive the same appreciation as somebody else, and they will infinitely act better and perform better and more admirably with that.
We try to do everything, even from the first project that Mike did, which was Box in the Basement. We try to do everything with the highest level that we've been able to do at the time, and keep improving everything as we go. But even at that time, afterwards, there was a few actors and even the parents of the actors that were saying, you guys should do a premiere for the movie. And we're like, how are we going to do a premiere? But we actually ended up working it out. We were able to rent out a theater, like one of the actual theater rooms and stuff like that, Westtown, and we actually made this like a big thing, like for Delaware is like a big thing, it was like we made it to be as much like a Hollywood premiere as we got a red carpet, we got everything, we had everyone dress up, wear formal dresses, almost everybody, like pretty much everyone got like awards, we got awards for things, we got certificates, so
People
like
came from
again
so
we
many different
gave that
places.
appreciation to everyone, and had like pictures and videos and interviews and all kinds of stuff like that.
I think that's kind of part of what we try to do is, how you said, it's not the typical Hollywood thing, not the typical Hollywood attitude, but the Hollywood quality.
Sure.
Keeping
Sure.
the quality of something good and something big and a big production, something high like that premiere, but not having the attitude or the lack of integrity that Hollywood has.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked, so has this, helped or hindered, your progress? And, in all honesty, it's, we've had a lot of setbacks because we don't sell our soul for success. We haven't sold out our values or our integrity or what we believe, our belief system, as a family, as, what we value is good, moral basics, wherever you're at on that. But, we've had to take a lot of setbacks, because we wouldn't do it the normal Hollywood way.
Sure.
And so, but we just keep doing what we're doing, and we know that, it will come back, in some way, bigger and better than we even expected.
And that's, knowing that you all wear multiple hats in your productions, right? That you know, with being in the say a producer role, director role, you get to set the culture, right? You get to say, this is how we are going to act and treat each other on a set. And then you hope that, you know, the people who may only come and work with you on that one production, but maybe they'll take from that and take that to their next production, whatever role that they go. Because again, I speak a lot of experience in leadership from a corporate standpoint, and I've always looked at, like, say, the CEO of a company as, you are the servant to the company. You are setting the culture, you are setting the how the company does business and how we interact with each other. And I feel like the producer or director has that same influence and can, to your point, not be the Michael Bay or not be it's because when everyone's working together, like for us, where we are with our productions, we really are relying on our friends, our family, the folks are going to come volunteer their time because we don't have the budgets to pay. And so giving them that, you know, like if they're not having a good time and feeling like they're really owning part of their role, what they're doing, then why would they come do it? Like, because again, for a lot of them are coming, they're not making any money from us because we don't have any money to give them because we're scraping together these little productions. So I think, you know, having that right culture and that right attitude is so vitally important. And I think the more of us that collectively say, hey, yes, this is the Hollywood way, but you don't have to do it that way to be successful, to have a quality product, to have a meaningful, successful project, whether it's a show or film or short or whatever it is you're working on, right? I mean, I'm still riding off the high of our production from the end of January, where it was the biggest crew we've had, all volunteer, and it went longer than we expected, but everyone was in it. We're all working together, and we got it done. And it was like, wow, like that's what I hope that our next production of the team is going to be like. That's what I hope that we can continue to foster that growth. And our friends that have been working with us, they're excited because they want us to be successful, because they know that if we're successful, we hopefully can monetize roles for them, or we can say, hey, you've learned how to be a sound boom operator. Now you can get paid to do that, or you've learned how to be a PA or an AD. You know, those roles are all very critical, right?
We for our project Sleepers, we wanted to make sure that we went beyond the norm. I mean, one of the biggest things, especially in the indie filmmaking, is, and it's a debatable topic. You know, do you have people on for free, you know, and just give them credits, or, you know, do you always pay them and things like that? For this project Sleepers, I wanted to avoid at all costs having, you know, the free work type of mentality. And so we had to raise funds, we had to do this. Unfortunately, we had to pay out of pocket, you know, in many ways, you know, even got scammed, you know, like we talked about $10,000, you know, but we still paid out of our pocket because we wanted to make sure that people were paid, for their roles. And so we, you know, it's been an amazing experience so far, you know, with Sleepers. And we've had people come from all over the place, you know, for that. And so we just got to be so many locations and so many things, but that's our mentality. I have a Hollywood big budget mentality, you know, although we're here in little Delaware, as far as when it comes to like the actual production of it, you know, and the quality of it. So again, you know, a lot of people, they don't really care about A and B and C and D as long as they get the thing done and out and in the can and get paid. You know, for me, I'm like a younger Steven Spielberg, you know, Christopher Nolan, you know, J.J. Abrams type of, you know, Guy Ritchie type of director. And, you know, I'm always going to look for the best angle, the best way, the most creative shot to do it, and make it as high quality as possible. You know, so, you know, we're excited about, you know, the Sleepers and other stuff, even the horror film that's in production, as far as, well, development and pitch, going to be pitched to investors that we just finished, called Then Came a Rainbow. So we're excited about that. See what happens with
One thing
that.
that is really important too is something that off of what you mentioned about your last production and how everyone was working and you got to see that. That's one of the favorite things that we have seen on set is really especially the crew culture, what they call the crew culture, and it's the people behind the scenes, not just the actors. I mean, the actors are there and they do their best and they do the performance, but it doesn't happen without the crew. They need the crew to support them. They need the lights. They need the camera. They need everything that surrounds it. And so that crew culture is what we really, really enjoy. And at least so far, the people that we've worked with, we've been able to cultivate that and help that so that when we get there, we have people already helping us get stuff out of the car and, load up equipment, and they are there afterwards. And even some of the actors have actually shown up early and you've shown up early and helped with the equipment and said, what else do you need me to do? Doubled as PAs or even when they're done and they could have gone home and they stayed afterwards to help with whatever
It's
to
a
help.
team, it's a family, it's a collaborative effort, and the thing that I've been pushing forward the most for everyone on set, when they're on my set, is teamwork makes the dream work.
Of course.
Absolutely.
As somebody who's been through kind of both, like I've been on both sides of the glass as an actress and as a sound and boom person, and really helping in any way as PA too. It's there is a pure, I think, very much a difference between the cast culture and the crew culture. And the cast culture is fun. It's great to talk with your fellow actors, but truly, I started off as just being on set the first times were just acting, and then being a boom operator and helping them with their projects. I'm realizing this is where I want to be. I want to be in the crew culture. I want to be in this where it's obviously, yes, there's a lot of hard work involved in memorizing lines and doing it the way you're supposed to, but there's so much more of the, what's that?
Less drama.
Way less, yeah, but it's a lot more of just that feeling of working with somebody in a more physical sense of, let's raise this together, let's work this together, let's do this, let's set this up. It's all equipment and it's all gear, and yet the downtime is the best. The time when you're just chilling out and relaxing and talking, and then of course when it's when the camera's on and it's time to film, and then after seeing the finished product that I helped make a big difference in that, and you wouldn't see it. It's not like I'm just right here on the camera,
right?
But that you know that you made a big difference in making this project look good, and
that's that's why we love doing what we do, because we have a passion, to make films, with a purpose, with a passion, not just,
Isn't that our slogan?
Yes.
Yes, Trisha Fox films with purpose, or something like that.
Passion.
Yeah.
It's something that we want to make sure that we put into it what we do. And like, Trisha said, we're constantly learning, growing, expanding our knowledge and quality all the time. So we're grateful to be able to continue, making quality content, for our projects and things like that.
But like you said too, even with the improving everything each time, I think one of the biggest things that we were able to do this last time with Sleepers was being able to bring on, we had at least 2 different people who were fight choreographers, and so that was really important for the scenes because we wanted to do some fight scenes. She got to do a lot of fight scenes, and that was actually her favorite part.
That's her favorite part.
Being in it, but
They
they show you how to do this stuff to make it look real, but to also keep it safe and make sure that the things are going according to the call sheets and what everything that you have and shot lists and all that.
I'm making these faces because as she's saying this, one of the stunt and fight choreographers that was on Sleepers, he said, "Mike, I gotta show you something."
Oh no.
And he was on this project that was mainly a fight type of film, and the lead got like $1,000 a day just to be there, and he showed me the choreography. And I really had no words. It looked like a backyard cheesy home film, and I'm just like, this is shameful, to not put, quality, production into what you're doing. I had to stop it. I'm like, I can't continue to watch this because, I don't want to be, negative about it, but I mean, we could use it, that kind of funding and budget, and we would have came out, and he was going off like, oh, of course, I mean, like just 30 seconds of what we did on Sleepers, it surpassed the entire film that we did, and he was just kind of venting because he was a part of it. And that's kind of how we try to structure it. We work hard, we play hard, but we don't do it half-heartedly.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times we would have interviews. So Mike, what do you tell like new filmmakers? One of the points is, don't cut corners. One of the things is do your best not to cut corners and to try to cheat things just to save a few bucks. Spend the quality, spend the time, make it better than you think it could be, kind of thing.
I just want to say about the fight thing, like that is such an interesting thing because we have many fights in Sleepers, and they all have a purpose. They all have a reason. They all have a reason for being there. It's kind of like what the slogan is, films with purpose. I love fight scenes. I love action. I love movies with action. We all love movies with action, but the ones that we love the most are the ones that have a reason for every single thing. Everything from Pirates of the Caribbean with its sword fights and the reason why they're fighting. It's not just that they're, oh, let's fight, shoom, boom, boom. No, there's a reason why. There's a whole plot that's involved. Why these characters are now antagonistic towards one another and their goals oppose, and that's why they're fighting. And same goes for the more fist combat and some of the stuff that we did in Sleepers. And I just love that. That's part of what makes, I think, those fight scenes good in Sleepers. Part of what made it much better than that cheesy backyard film is that it actually had a reason for being there. It wasn't like, oh, let's fight because it looks cool. No, it's let's fight because we're in a Russian underground place and we're being forced to by the overseer, or let's fight because there are all these other goals and things going on. And I think that's important, that there's purpose behind it.
Because quality filmmaking changes people's lives.
It does.
Yeah.
It impacts them, it inspires them, it stirs something within them. And when I can totally relate, when I'm watching something and there's a fight and how many times I'm like, why are they fighting? Like, is this just to show off flashy moves?
Yeah.
Cool, great, but
Right.
But why?
Unless you're invested in the characters and understand why they're fighting, you're not really going to be rooting for any of them. And that right there means that, okay, if I'm not invested in who wins this fight, this film or content is not really. It's not. It doesn't have the quality that it needs to really draw people in.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot with the movies, like certain movies, that it's when there's a lot of action going on and I'm like starting to get confused, like what's going on. It seems like they're just blowing stuff up just to blow stuff up. It's like, which side is which? Who's like, everyone's just running around and blowing stuff up, and you're like, what's really going on?
Oh,
Yeah, the sake of the VFX.
that bugs me the most, that when they rely
On
instead of
CGI.
storytelling and
Good acting.
plots and good dialogue, they rely on CGI effects to make it, or an A-lister or things like that.
I still love some of the things like that include even some of the old films are still cult classics that have like almost very little CGI at all because they couldn't afford it at the time, and they just had mostly practical effects, and they're still fantastic movies because they're amazing. And I love I love things like Mandalorian where they can combine the practical effects and the CGI. That's what we hope to do.
Well, I mean, but you touched on ILM, right? I mean, would love or hate George Lucas, that man has single-handedly, I think, re-innovated the industry time and time again with the way that he pushes people and the new technologies and things that they brought and brought, like, I mean, we wouldn't have Adobe if it wasn't for, some of the things that he did. We wouldn't have Pixar. We wouldn't have, digital projection. We wouldn't have digital video editing. We wouldn't have all these things that, he did. I mean, that I have such a great appreciation for. And I knew that he was the champion of those things, but I just recently watched that documentary series about ILM, and I was like, wow, okay, I didn't realize just how very much technology they created that has now become not just industry standard, but just has improved everyone's lives in some fashion. But,
well, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you talked about this is what we hope to do, kind of a merge of the two. Shall we talk a little bit more about Sleepers and?
Yeah, give us a little bit, what's the synopsis of Sleepers? Tell us a little more about the story. And
it's a really cool film.
You should watch it.
Check it out.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right.
Done. That's a wrap. So Sleepers, it's interesting how it actually came about. me and Ari were on our daddy-daughter date, and yeah, Planet Fitness.
The song.
The
is what
song.
inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was originally going to be a short film.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I started off because I have this found this fantastic German song called Flandern in Not, and it's a great song. And I was just singing it creepily in a garage with an echo, and then I played it to him, and I saw something spark in his brain, and I'm just like, okay. And then he was asking more information about the song, about Germany and the different things, and he was like, do you have anything Russian? And I'm like, I don't know why you're asking, and then you can go from there.
So at that time, we were sitting before we went into Planet Fitness. And so that's when I started, getting like more and more information.
Yeah.
And I found this, it's like called the most creepy Russian lullaby, Tilly Tilly Bomb.
Yep, Tilly Tilly Boom.
Boom or bomb?
Boom.
Boom.
Tilly Tilly Boom.
In the middle. And it is super creepy, and the words are even creepier. And it sparked like the rest of the entire story of a Russian sleeper agent girl. And hence Anya, this is good. And so, but it stems actually from historical truth, really, to be honest with you. For the longest time here in America, there's been sleeper cells.
Yep.
I mean, they've arrested families, and even the movie with I think Jeff Bridges, what's that one about the terrorist next door?
Arlington Road.
Arlington Road. That was very, very, very
And Salt.
good. Huh?
Salt.
Salt. It was based off of Salt, the movie with Angelina Jolie, and then also the Black Widow in the Red Room.
Yeah.
And so they indoctrinate and they teach young people from when they're young, about America and what America is and the lies that America has. And so it all kind of unfolded as they have sleeper agents, sleeper cells, sleeper families from a lot of other countries. So what if there was a sleeper, a top of the line sleeper, youth that finally got the privilege to be a sleeper agent and be sent to America and wait to be activated. And so, all these things about America, friendship, faith, family, love, whatever, all these good things, they're all lies, that is told to you. But then when Anya comes to America to blend in and wait to be activated, to do terror, she starts to experience these very things: friendship, mercy, love, family. And she realizes that she was the one that was lied to. And so now she has to make a choice to continue her destiny as a sleeper agent and reign terror and fulfill her destiny, or to defect and be as a foreign exchange student, defecting and being a normal teen and living the life of freedom and family and that comes with being here in America.
One of the things I really liked about the sleeper story too is that we there have been some right and some wrong, it's debatable or whatever about things that have happened with America, but we have freedoms and certain things in America that sometimes they don't have in other countries and stuff like that. And so we were basically able to, throughout, it just kind of sort of happened, but we were able to highlight that in the freedom in America and the things that we have, and even the veterans. And we even were able to do it at one of the scenes at a memorial, for a veteran memorial and stuff like that. And we actually, it was funny because we didn't even plan it, but we ended up having several, like at least 6 or more actual veterans on our film set and stuff that were actors and part of the crew and everything like that. So that was one of the parts that I thought was really cool, is giving honor to those veterans, the ones that have served, that have fought and even died for our country and for our freedoms that we take for granted sometimes.
So it's kind of an action thriller type of genre.
It's an interesting movie because it has so much of so much. Like, some people were like, whoa, this looks totally different from that part and stuff, because it's really like like varied. There's so much variety of types of scenes that part of it feels inspirational, like it could be an inspirational film, but then the other part is total thriller and really creepy, and the other parts are just total action, and it's like a fight movie you could just immerse yourself in and enjoy, and yeah, there's so much to it. That's what I love about it.
And we've been able to we raised a little for it, and we've been able to at one point I brought on 2 DPs just for 3 days of filming over in Pennsylvania in an old abandoned type of ammunitions building. It was just like the coolest thing ever.
Old little elevator.
And then the elevator shaft kind of thing, and it was amazing. And then we've gone all the way to places in Delaware to film, and so we've had a lot of locations on this, and I'm really proud of the fact that we have a myriad of cultures, races, ages, and different cultures and of life, that's represented in the film, and
not forced, but it was just there.
It just came about, but it's both on screen and on crew. So the cast and crew is all culturally diverse, in so many ways, and we're just so proud of that fact. And everybody's been so amazing, and the acting and the actors, that's something that I make sure of. The acting is what it needs to be and what it's supposed to be. And I'm the type of director that works with and pulls out the best. I don't, demand or bonk on the head type of thing. I actually work with as a coach would, if they don't have their own coach, and I'll bring it out of them what I'm looking for. At the same time, whatever they feel that they can add to it themselves. I try to give as much freedom and liberty on, what they want to include, without changing the character, the role, the story, the dialogue, kind of thing.
He's the kind of director who would probably rather have somebody who isn't the absolute best actor there could be, but is workable, than somebody who is the best actor there could be, but will not take direction. It's so much better to have a good or mediocre actor who can be better and be coached to be better than somebody who's like, I'm the best. I'm not going to take any direction.
Yeah, or not even just that, but just we've had some people that they don't understand changing something up. If the director says, try to do it a little more this way or a little more do it that way, and then they do it the exact same way that they just did, and they don't.
Okay, that was great. So instead, let's try this.
They do the exact same thing.
But for sleepers, going back to that, it's definitely got so much to it. From the fighting choreography to the chase scenes in the forest, to extremely touching moments, between actors and actresses, and flashbacks and all that kind of stuff. So we're proud of what we've done. It's been a film short. It was created as a film short. That's not very short at all right now. It's a very, very long short.
It's a film long.
Yeah.
It's a film long, and so we've been looking for, and this is a kind of one of the issues for Delaware here. We've been looking for investors and partners and people to help in terms of funding, so that way we can finish this to be a feature film, because there's a whole arc that's left to make this into a feature film. For us, it's not just because I've had a lot of people say, well, you've got enough you're almost there to make it a feature film. I'm like, well, footage wise, yes, but storyline, no.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't do it that injustice. There's so much more to the arc of the characters in the storyline, that's there, that and we don't want to ask people to do it for free and all that kind of stuff. We want to make sure that everybody's paid, we get paid backs in some way. I mean, we want to make sure this is a legit a legit type of operation, and so we've been hoping for that. We're not sure where it's going to go, but we do have to kind of come to a conclusion with it, whether it's just going to be a short and then submit it to festivals.
Okay.
Or if we can somehow find, investors and just help make this into a feature film. If it does, then it's a whole different ball game, because then you don't have to submit it to film festivals and that's all you got. Nice laurels and awards. But you can actually bring it to distribution and get ROI, and even submit it to higher, studios at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so much more opportunities. And no matter what, if it was a feature film, it would be on the main streamers, not the big ones, unless it gets picked up, which it can. But at the very minimal, it would be on like Prime, Tubi, Hulu, Vudu, those things, as well as Roku and Apple and all that kind of stuff. At the very minimum, if it was. And for the actors and the people that are on board, even if there's an executive producer or whatever, it's so much better to have your credit as a feature film than on a film short. So much different, so much better, and it's a whole different ballgame. So we've been trying our best to do that. So, we'll see.
One thing that you mentioned about in just a few minutes ago about Delaware, I think that's another interesting thing is, and it was really cool that we got to do with Sleepers, is most of it is filmed right here in Delaware. We had a few things in Philadelphia, or actually Reading, Pennsylvania, but other than that, most of the stuff was actually filmed right here in Delaware. So we're actually highlighting a lot of places in Delaware, from the woods to houses, just different places, parks, playgrounds. Yeah, there's like so many places. So I think that actually highlights for Delaware too, like how many places there really are around here. And we actually do have some, sometimes you think like, what is there to do in Delaware or something? But there actually are some really cool, really amazing places. And even that Delaware Memorial that we didn't even know about, that Veterans Memorial. So we really were able to highlight Delaware in this film, I think.
And in conjunction with what we've been talking about, we've been trying to do what we can as filmmakers for years now, trying to help Delaware. We've been trying to help Delaware put Delaware on the map,
right,
in filmmaking. There's so much opportunity and possibility for Delaware. We've been featured on the front page of the newspaper, in 3 major newspapers, with our first film, and so we've been pushing hard for years, and unfortunately, Delaware, with its political strings and antiquated processes and practices and protocol, has been a huge deterrent for its own prosperous journey. We wish it wasn't so. We've ran into so many roadblocks, so many hindrances, and antiquated non-collaboration, very little help. I do want to give a shout out to TJ Healy, who is the head of the Film Commission in Delaware. He has been helping to do what he can for what we're doing, including our other project that's in development, looking for funding, Mia's Bridge, and he's excited about that one in particular, as far as a big Hollywood budgeted type of situation. But as far as Sleepers, we've hit so many walls and roadblocks along the way for Delaware, and it's really kind of sad because, if you can be more friendly, not just financial friendly, but friendly for filming itself, the actual production work, then it becomes a magnet. And when it becomes a magnet for economic structure and economic growth locally. And you have A-listers, B-listers, and producers and directors even outside of Delaware who want to do something here in Delaware. And when they come bringing big production, then it boosts the economy. It's like a boost right there and then. But unfortunately, there's so many strings and old-fashioned things that they're just still not working out. And then they're also trying to push different things we feel is not really helpful for local Delaware, and that's things that are like debatable or hot topics type of thing. We have people that we know that are in the film and entertainment and they're trying to bring into Delaware things that are, divisive, dividing, classes, dividing races, and and highlighting certain groups and things like that. And it's like, if we can't come together for filmmaking, that's what filmmakers are supposed to do, is entertain, put together entertaining. Yes, films are and I agree with what you said earlier 100%. It is one of the most effective ways to impact people's lives. That's the power of filmmaking. That's why we're doing what we're doing. But instead of using films to bring narratives or specific things that are very divisive or hurtful or exclusive to certain things, people, blah, 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 just make it entertaining with some kind of positive, inspirational type of thing to make you feel better about something. That's what movies used to be. You used to leave feeling energized and powerful and strong and excited. Now movies are used to like bring negative types of things, and because they know how powerful entertainment is. So we're also competing with that as well. Trying to bring positive, unity-based type of stuff, to bring people together, especially me as Bridge. So Delaware, I wish you would kind of, jump on the bandwagon and do more to help filmmakers. There are a lot of filmmakers, there are a lot of videographers, there are a lot of people on set, a lot of actors and actresses, both young and old, that are in and around Delaware, but we're like ninjas. We are hiding under the shadows. And it's like, only because there's nothing here in Delaware still that is a draw or a magnet. So we've had a number of people coming from outside of Delaware because that's where they're at. When they're done, they leave Delaware because there's no reason for them to stay, And it's kind of a shame, to be honest with you, because Delaware is it's such an awesome state to use as a catapult for filmmaking. We have M. Night Shyamalan, who uses Pennsylvania a lot, and there are a few unknown or unnamed people, celebrities, that are in and around and do stuff under the shadows in Delaware.
Yeah.
And you're like, why? It's because Delaware, the leaders, the politics of it all are very exclusive to a few. And instead of making it open and helpful to all filmmakers, so that it can be a robust and productive type of state, So it's been a kind of a roller coaster, journey on that, but there is potential.
I agree, though. Films can absolutely change entire perspectives of a mass amount of people. I did a great deal of research. I love neuroscience and psychology, and I did a great deal of research on this particular movie that is a bit of a controversy. But the point of it still being, it brought to light a condition, a psychological condition that a lot of people did not previously know about. And even though nowadays some people may use it as a stereotype, now people actually know about this condition. Now people will be like, oh, like that one movie. And it's interesting because that movie shaped tons of Americans everywhere to know that this was a thing and be able to get diagnoses and all sorts of things. This is just one example of how movies can change entire communities, how something that is fictitious and is not based off of a real person can absolutely impact entire people. And I think that when you make the kinds of movies that we are trying to make, which are the ones that have purpose, the ones that have meaning, and the ones that have some kind of inspiration and positive message, we can help change and shift the perspective of people all around to start thinking positively and thinking in that way instead of thinking divisively like so many other films are practically. So yeah, there's so much of an impact in film, in fiction, in something that people can relate to and not say, oh, this is preachy or this is overstating the theme. Something they can just be like, oh, this is really fun, this is really cool, and little do they know their subconscious is getting and taking in the message.
Yeah, it used to be, the actors and people, they were role models and most of them, the majority, were actually decent role models. Nowadays they're only role models because they're paid to be, and in real life, as a parent, you wouldn't want your children to be them. It's pretty sad. It's all about the Benjamins.
It is actually really sad to see the decline of even just quality in not only the films and production, but also in the actors themselves, because I love old movies and old shows, ones even from black and white things and stuff, but I used to just marvel at the fact that they could dance, they could sing, they could tap dance, they could sword fight, they get do their own stunts. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are still some great people out there, some great actors who do those things that are very multi-talented. When you learn that there are, people back then, it was just normal for them to also play the piano and play another instrument and sing and dance and do this and that, and Basil Rathbone, who played a literal person who did his own sword fighting. I wish we still had that same sort of, and that's what we're trying to do, is create that same sort of culture of really working hard and not just I act, that's all I do.
Yeah, it's a lazy mentality.
It is.
It is because they rely on everybody else but themselves. They rely on AI, they rely on CGI, they rely on the marketing, their names, and the dialogue of, and I won't name names because I don't want to create enemies for anyone here, but especially in Star Wars. Did I mention that? Sorry. But the quality of dialogue of the storyline and the narratives in the actual episodics and the movies have literally crashed. I won't talk, say names like Marvel or Disney or anything like that, but it's the quality of content has crashed so hard.
But it wouldn't be as disappointing if it wasn't fantastic from the beginning. If these things.
Yeah. That's our reference. Is it used to be? People talk about it. Are you Marvel fans? I'm we're old Marvel fans. We're old Star Wars fans. We're old Pixar. Original OG, because that's when they put quality and story and inspiration, and it touched your life in some way, and it wasn't just rush it through, and the dialogue had 5 seconds of gaps in between them talking, and you're who's doing this, who's doing the editing, who's doing the writing on this? It's just it's so bad, but there's literally billions of dollars in the film industry pouring into these people, these companies.
That's what Marvel, I find so amazing, is the sheer amount of money being spent on some of these productions, and it's
that's what we,
yeah, I mean, that's where I appreciate someone like Gareth Edwards, right, with the creator, he used the FX3, right? That was his main rig for that whole production, and they didn't do all of the virtual sets and markers.
Yeah, they did.
And he kind of dumped it on ILM, said, okay, here's the challenge. You said you would do this. I need this many shots, but I'm not giving you all the things that you typically would do. And they delivered, but yet he made film for
$92 million.
Yeah, I mean,
instead of $300.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's huge. I mean, still can't imagine having $92 million.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll be okay with $9 million.
But yeah, a couple $100,000. I'll show you but
One thing that we really like too is when people have new and original ideas, because it seems like so many companies now are just falling back on ones that have been popular or have made them money in the past, and it's some of these even some animated things that it's number 5 now or something like that. It's do we really need a number 5 of this movie?
Why not create
why not create a new storyline? Have original characters and
new content, new
ideas,
stories, new ideas.
Like that. Yeah.
I mean, they're taking what was successful, and they're redoing it.
Regurgitating it.
They're regurgitating it, and they're ruining it. And you have to ask yourself, are they doing this on purpose? Because every one of them are crashing so hard. They are losing literally hundreds of millions of dollars each time they do that. But they keep doing it. And and it just makes you wonder who out there even wants to create something new and original, and they can they not do that?
So my comment, this may have to get edited out, but it's almost they're turning this delicious dinner into vomit.
Yeah.
Oh, don't
And-
edit that out.
No.
That's true.
But to answer the question, yes, like there's, I mean, it's you can't get around the greed aspect, right?
Of course.
But that's outside of this. But I think there's a lot of fear because of that need to make money and need to be successful. There's a fear that if it's not going to make this much money, then it's going to fail and it's not worth it. And
But
it's
the
not
thing
good.
is
But
that
there's this-
they're doing it's the opposite effect on every one of them. They're not making money. They're losing
So
more than
much
they've
fun.
ever lost in the history. We're talking Star Wars. We're talking we're
I'm
talking
not arguing
Lucasfilm.
with that, yeah,
How was that?
I'm not arguing.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying like Lucasfilm, Pixar, Marvel, Disney, all of those major companies. They're all literally. I mean, it's just all fact. You can throw emotions if you want in it, but the fact is they have lost literally in the billion, like tens of billions of dollars just in the past 3 to 4 years because of all the bombs that they've been producing. Like the Secret Invasion. Imagine that on every film that they've done, including the Star Wars ones that they're producing. So if they do that, then it's kind of like what they're doing is they're taking that vomit and they're saying, well, you have to like this vomit. And if you don't like this vomit, then you're A, B, C, and D, and E, F, G.
Yeah, but I have to believe there are plenty of creative writers, directors who have good original stories that are being told no.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
no, I agree 100%.
Because it's less scary to go with something that resembles something we've done in the past
Right.
that was successful.
Because they think that it will.
Then do something completely new. And that's kind of what I was talking about with the fear thing, right? And cut like living in fear is no way to live. And that's where I think,
Step out
creating
there,
stills
create your
with-
thing.
creating films with, passion and purpose, like that's not creating things out of fear. That's creating things out of love, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want our society to we want to flourish. We want everyone to flourish. Our families, our kids, our loved ones, why not? Right?
Exactly.
So, demonstrating how we can do this and of course, hopefully making it easier for localized communities to write films, whether here in Delaware or anywhere, is important, right? So,
That's one of the things we've been trying to do, like we said, with the purpose and films with purpose and even no matter what it is, we want to bring some kind of a purpose to it, some kind of a meaning, and we've even been involved with it either in pre-production or ideas of things of even some horror things and stuff like that. But it's like for us, it's like some people will have just the regular slasher that there's no real point to it, and it's like there's a place for that, and there's an audience for that really. But
Yeah.
but we want to those kind of films that we want to make. We want to make something that if it is horror, it's not just slash kill whatever, but there's actually a meaning behind. Like she said before, with the meaning behind the fights, there's a meaning behind the killing. There's suspense. There's other things involved in it. There's an actual storyline.
I always think personally that a good horror or particularly a good thriller is really just a scary mystery. Yeah, and there needs to be elements of you following along, figuring the clues out. It's all just a mystery, but just spooky, and that's what it needs to be instead of just okay, slash kill. No, there needs to be suspense. There's so much that's involved.
And that's where there's actually been that's where there's actually been some good ones out recently. Like we love Megan, that's one of our favorite ones out there right now, and they've done Night Swim and some other ones that actually have some really good storylines. So it's those are the kind of films that we like to go see when we're seeing something. It's not, like I said, not just slash or whatever, but there's a reason for it, and there's suspense behind it, and you're in anticipation of what's going to happen next and those kind of things.
Well, there's genre for everyone, right? There's like, if
Yep.
you want the mindless slasher, well, there's plenty.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's plenty of them out
And
there.
I think
Yeah,
some of them are
exactly.
really good and some of them are not so great.
Exactly.
But that's in any genre. I mean, like, there was a movie, there's a comedy movie, it was a few years ago. I think it was like This Is 42, something like that. And it was like all these A-listers. And it was supposed to be like a Kentucky Fried Movie, if you remember that, or like, it was like, almost like a throwback to those kind of old, like, little skits.
Yeah.
But the writing was so god awful. Like, it was just like, you have all these great, wonderful talent, and you just, this is what you made.
I know.
And to me, it kind of comes back to the idea, like I one of my hopes with the strikes last year was that would bring a reset to a certain extent, like that we could maybe like think about this bloat, right? This bloat that is in the industry where we are throwing hundreds of $millions at films that fail or just aren't worth the money and then again to see that, hey, you can do more with less. You don't have to spend $100 million on CGI and VFX if it doesn't tell the story, if it doesn't actually serve the story. But it's I think it's because it's a formula. It's easy. To your point, you even said it's lazy, right? To a certain extent, it's like, well, this is what works, even though it doesn't really work. But that's what they think works, and then we get this content. You're like, all right, I spent 2.5 hours watching something that I could have, I could have more rewarding pulling weeds in my backyard.
Right. Yeah.
Spent watching this
Yeah,
film.
there's definitely, and I've been told by a lot of different people, there's definitely a lot of shifting in the industry going around right now. Somebody actually last week told me that there's another potential strike that's about to happen. That would be devastating. But and there's pros and cons to even that. The strike affects good people as well as people that should be affected by it and hopefully kicked off. But one thing that has happened, through it all, is that it has boosted the confidence and the hope of a lot of independent filmmakers. Hollywood down, independent up, indie up. And, there's a lot of people I know that I know personally, and I've seen, there's so many independent filmmakers out there, that have that, same kind of aspect to, they created, quality. You would never even know that it wasn't a budgeted type of situation, because they put quality and, even out of their own back pocket just to make it happen. There's so many, indie filmmakers out there that deserve the chance to be on the big screens, nationwide, but it's so political and so expensive to get there, and only the big studios that can do that. They have their pockets, they have their connections and strings, to the association that puts it out, and when they put it out, all that kind of stuff. It's so string pulley, but at least within the past year and a half, a lot of independent filmmakers have been boosted in their hope and confidence. So that's been refreshing to see. A lot of people that they wouldn't have done it before, now they're like, I'm gonna make a movie, I'm gonna do this. And even us, if it's if it's a crappy movie, if it's, the quality is not good, I'm not gonna tell them that if they're a first time and they're doing it. I'm the type of person that'll say, that's great, let me know if you want any tips or anything like that. But kudos to you for doing it, for getting out there and doing it, and making it happen, because so many times that they've been scared to, like the fear factor, like you mentioned, has not even been to doing it because there's been no hope for it even to come to pass at all. So at least we've seen a lot of uprise on a lot of people, writers, indie filmmakers, cinematographers, DPs, all 9 yards, and even all the crew, just being excited, to do stuff. So
kind of wrapping up in final thoughts, and this is a bit selfish because I'm about a month away from DPing my first project that's outside of things that we've done.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
I'm nerve-wracked and excited at the same time, because to me there's a lot riding on this for us. So what kind of advice would you offer to like the younger DPs, I mean, I'm not younger, but younger as far as in the industry, but that are like stepping into these roles and taking swings at these types of productions for the first time?
Run. No, I'm just kidding.
Nightmare.
Run.
Thanks for coming by.
Cut. Take two. No, for DPs, I mean, any filmmaker, cinematographer, DP, DOP, however you want to, call yourself. Depends on the camera that you're using.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're using Blackmagic, Red, Sony, whatever, Ari. My biggest thing for, at least in terms of DPing and cinematography, is do your best to find a different shot. In Big Hero 6, their whole thing was find a different angle. Find a new angle. That's how they got out of other things. Find a new angle. And so really the same thing. Find a different angle to do. Don't do the same old, unless you're hired to do that and they don't want you to talk. Then, yes, sir. But, coverage, make sure that you get a lot of cushion before and after you're shooting. Work directly with the vision of the director. For DP, that's been my biggest thing, to have a DP. One of the DPs that is not known yet, but he will be, and he's up and coming, and I really love this guy a lot, and I want to give shout outs to him. His name is Kalen Love, and he helped to do the teaser on Mia's Bridge that we produced in Philly. This guy is fantastic, and what I really, really love about him as a DP, he is not a Hollywood DP yet. He will be. But his attitude, his spirit, his willingness, his cooperation, and openness to learn and to listen and to latch on to the vision of whatever the director is. And hopefully the director, I'm the type of director that I have open ears. Like, if it has to be this way, then, I appreciate it, but we got to do it this way. But I'm always open as a director. I'm always open to hearing, well, okay, so you're seeing something that I'm not seeing. Talk to me. Tell me what you're seeing. And a lot of times the DP, because they're looking through the lens, will literally see something that the director's not seeing. And, I tell the DP, don't be afraid to tell me something that I'm not seeing here. And there's been plenty of times I'm like, you know what? I love it. Let's roll with it. Let's do it that way instead. Or let's do it that way plus this way, and then in post-production, let's see what's going to work better. So don't be afraid to go above and beyond what you've been hired to do, kind of thing. And always look for a kind of a different angle, a different creative way to do it.
I must stress the importance of listening to the director. I have a voiceover course actually, so I was doing a live for it, and somebody asked me a question with the pure intent of me answering, listen to the director, as a voice actor. And I do have to say that here too, because there are so many things where you may want to suggest ideas and suggest things, and yes, find that new angle, like he said, find that new creative way and suggest it. But if the director says no, that means no.
Yeah. No.
If the director says, nope, sorry, gotta do this, I know it may bug you on the inside, from the inside out, because you really want to do that awesome Dutch angle that looks fantastic, but don't do it. If the director, and also a very important thing, we've dealt with some DPs who sort of have a mind of their own, and they just want to continue, they just want to do it the way they want to be the director. They want to take the photography part away and just keep the director part. And they just want to be the director. And unfortunately, you do have to remember, obviously everybody has the same level of respect, but you do have to remember your place just a wee bit.
Yeah.
As a DP, know that it is the director's vision and it is their goal. And I certainly hope that as a DP, you work with a director who is like him, who is open and willing, and somebody who's willing to to appreciate suggestions, but there are some who just have their vision, and that's okay. But just make sure you are willing to listen and learn. That will get you very far. That'll get you very far.
Yeah, my philosophy or approach towards this role is I am the technical extension of the director, right?
Yeah.
It's
That's a good way to put it.
like my job is to know the technical aspects of the lenses and the angles and the cameras and the lighting, and all for the support of the director's vision, right? Because yes, hopefully the relationship is a way that it can be two-way, but to your point, understanding that my role is still, the director has the final say, and if he says no, then I have to respect that, and whether I agree with it or not, I have to respect that. Like that's my role. But my approach to DP is I'm the technical extension of the director, like making sure that I'm dotting the I's, crossing the T's from a technical aspect, and then helping to bring that additional creative flair, right? Because I see the world through my own lens, so to speak, and so if I can bring that perception, bring my take on that, that's going to enhance the project.
Of course.
Right? So, because it's I'm excited and like I said, nervous. Like this next month is going to be me like watching as many modern romantic comedies as I can, because that's the style, that's the film that we're doing, and it's like, you don't want it to be like lit like a Born Identity movie, so it's got
That was actually going to be one of my suggestions, by the way, was research. And you hit it right there.
Putting together like the shot deck, like knowing the look and feel, like as he's storyboarding now and starting to we're starting to kind of work through that. Just making sure that like I'm coming into it with it's the lighting and the approach that's appropriate for the genre there.
Exactly.
Also, I don't know if this it depends on the size of the project, but if there is a first AD, then it's also working with the first AD as well, because a lot of times the first AD they may even tell the director something like, no, we can't do the shot either because it's not safe, or we're not going to get it in time, or and sometimes the first AD has even had to tell Mike or the other director, whoever the director is, like, no, we can't, or we're moving on, we're done with that scene, because
no idea,
they're the ones yelling out, back in 5 or whatever, or back to 1 or whatever stuff. So like if for crew members, if there is a first AD on set, I would say make sure you also work with your first AD, and they're going to be your best liaison as well. That's what they're there for, to communicate between the director and the AD and the rest of the crew, so that the director doesn't have to get all the questions, because the director needs to be able to focus on directing. So the AD is there to be able to like liaise on that and filter out the things that need to go to the director and what they can solve themselves. Or
there was a brilliant post we just saw recently that had this entire list of all these things that basically the entire crew does. So it was like, set up the lights, do this, do that, set up the microphone, all that stuff. And it's like these are what an independent director, an indie director of a low budget film have to do. Do this, that. And then it said the tasks of a high budget director, direct.
Yeah.
and
then get paid.
Yeah, that's right. Direct. And then next one, bullet point, get paid.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Especially it is so important for the director, at least I think it is. And you can back me up if you like. It is so important to as a director, just have that space of mind to like be able to direct, to be able to have that.
And that's what I'm hoping to be able to give him. And that's what we're hoping together. I don't think we have a first AD identified yet. Probably gonna be her. If she's not running all the balls.
Yeah, he has me kind of pegged as the behind the scenes person, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a very small production.
Yeah.
We have 2 days to shoot, and we have 5 locations to shoot in 2 days. That'll be
nice.
4 of them all within walking distance, thankfully.
That's good.
And the other one's like a 5-minute drive, but so we don't have to move the company once. But
Move company.
But it's like I come into it with my own relative experience, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna shoot this in 2 days? Like,
Yeah.
oh my god!
Welcome to the club.
That's another.
And we're one of some of the most experienced people on the crew. That's not good.
That's another point.
We're being honest.
This could not
It's
be.
like
Yeah, I get it.
Hollywood filmmakers. Like
Yeah.
I said, a year ago, I didn't, color grading was not something that was important to me. Now it's like I can't think anything about it. But
Yeah.
it's like so.
Oh, I was gonna say that's another point too. Is like the timing thing. Like that's the one thing that is so important, and that's what the first AD does. But if you don't have it, then you just need to make sure that the things are not taking extra time, and do whatever you can to limit the amount of time that happens in between the takes, because that's what takes the longest time. And we realized that with Sleepers, one of the times it's like, if something wasn't there where it's supposed to be, and where is this thing, and maybe the prop was in another building or something, and it's like, then we have to wait for a
on the walkie-talkie to the other person. No, they don't have the walkie-talkie. Blast it. We need to go.
And then go get a PA or something. It's just all these little things that you don't think of that take time in between the takes, and then plus the multiple takes, and
it's a lot.
And it wastes. So you want to keep it moving as fast as you can.
Things that keep me up at night, because I do think about all those little, like, so, you know, in my previous life in my other career that I had, I was a fixer, I was a problem solver. So having to be able to see and predict and be able to plan for all those little things. And so when I think about this, yes, I may not have all the relevant experience, but I understand the logistics of it. And it's like, oh boy, we've got, like, it's like, it's going to probably be like run and gun-ish, because I'm going to have to, like, all right, let's go. Let's we got it. Okay, we
keep it rolling. Let's go there.
It's like we're just gonna keep the camera rolling, because this will also be the behind the scenes as we get to this, you know, location, and I hope everything's working. You know, it's just one of those things that, like, we're excited, and we're you know,
congrats.
What you line for saying a little bit nervous, because originally I wasn't supposed to be DP. He had tapped somebody else, and just to work out the way he wanted it, and I was like, okay, here's the DP now. Okay, all right, what are we doing? All right,
it's like you're sailing the ship now. Okay.
What's this thing?
If anybody does like nautical references, that might be a good way to describe a DP. I always kind of think, you know, the way that everybody thinks the captain steers the ship. They don't. It's the helmsman. Yeah. It's the coxswain. And in that way, though, they're still getting the direction and the order from the captain.
Yeah.
And so in that same way, it's kind of like the DP. They're the one holding the camera. They're the one, you know, with the
focus.
Yeah, exactly. Doing all that, but they're still getting the direction and the order from the captain.
Are you using Black Magic?
Yeah, we're using Black Magic. We wanted to go, like, you know, try to get something, but again, with the budget, we just couldn't afford the rentals. You know. Are you
doing your own focus pulling?
Oh.
See, that's why I went so many the FX3. It's
we're going to be using 100% manual lenses. You know, I mean, it's
well, it's a what is it? What kind of genre?
It's a romantic comedy.
Rom-com.
So at least it's not action to where it's like in and out of focus so much.
It's, you know, the first time I read the script, it had that New Girl sitcom kind of vibe, like, you know, that quirky.
Oh yeah, not that.
You know, so but
like other girls.
You know, but it's you know, so, but you know, again, but the director, he may have a completely different vision. So we're waiting to see how it comes out from a storyboard and a style standpoint. And you know, and again, like I'm the technical extension of him, and again, there to support his vision. So, and my goal is to give him the space to direct, right? To be able to do that without having to worry about any of the technical aspects of what we're trying to do. So, you know.
I was going to mention, you know, one more thing, like to answer the question you asked earlier, is it's very important for the filmmakers or up-and-coming filmmakers to understand the process of production itself. Like filming is like the least amount of time on producing a film. You know, the actors, the actresses, all that period. Filming itself is actually the least amount of time, and it's you have I would say like more, I would say about a half, a third, I would say maybe about a third in pre-production, and then you have what would be considered like a fourth. I know it's not right math and all that, but like a fourth size of like what would be a fourth as actual filming, and then 3/4 as post-production. That's kind of like the size, you know, of things, how it works. Most people, like you brought up earlier, most people don't realize how much goes into making a film even a good quality film short. I mean, I'm not just talking about get out your iPhone and, you know, follow someone. Hey, dude, this is a really cool film short, man. I'm gonna submit it to festivals, man. You know, so it's like, but when you go into actual production purposes, you know, to making a quality cinematic, you know, film project, the post-production, the filming, and the pre-production of it all, there's so much to it, you know.
I was gonna say that's another good tip that you just reminded me of, is if at all possible, try to in the pre-production process, try to plan as much out as you can before. Of course, there's things that happen on set and things may change and stuff like that, but Mike, the same DP he was talking about, Kaylin, when we were doing a teaser trailer for the Mia's Bridge, they were able to meet up several times, even though it was just on Zoom, but they were able to meet up, and Mike was able to tell him exactly what he was looking for and what he was wanting to do and stuff like that, and they were talking the technical aspects and all of the things that they wanted to get done and how they're going to play out the scenes and all that kind of stuff. And the more, it's like, all the quotes about, like, the more you put into preparation, the better it will go on set, and the least thing, it lessens the amount of things that you actually have to change or deal with on set when you've, like, actually gone through it before.
Perspiration and preparation makes for inspiration and presentation.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, we've already experienced that firsthand. Like, we spent more time in pre-production on a 4-minute short than we did on a feature length that we shot in, a week.
Boy,
and then
was it different.
And boy, yes,
Yeah.
it's very different. And we'll spend more time in post-production on that 4-minute short than we did in that feature length as well. It's just because it's not quality, right? It's just, you want that quality. I mean, I was lying in bed the other night doing the math on our show that we're finishing up. And we shot 10 episodes. And we shot it over the course of 4 days. There were 2 shoots. The post-production effort is like the equivalent of 4 feature-length films. And it's like, no wonder it's taken 8 months in post-production. It's 4 feature-length films, and it's not even cinematic. It's a multicam game show.
No,
But yet,
right.
all the stuff that we have to do. I mean, the amount of time I spent just in the post-production audio, like the dialogue trimming and balancing, and getting rid of the lip smacks
I relate to that one as a voice actor.
And trying to reduce sibilance and things like that. It's like, oh man, like, okay, I just spent 4 hours on a 40-minute episode, and that was just the first pass, and I've got at least 2 more passes to do. So it's like I realized that, like, that again, to your point, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, the amount of time that you spend in post-production that's the monster. That's where you are spending the bulk.
Especially if you have CGI. Like, it took 10 years to create Avatar. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But people don't realize that.
We're here.
Yeah.
Part of why we're here, anyway. But yeah.
All right, so I think we're gonna wrap up there. I want to thank Mike, Trish, and Arianna for joining us from Crystal Fox Films. They've got a new trailer out for Sleepers that they're promoting and pushing, and hoping to. I hope you get the funding to finish it. Where can folks see the trailer and check out your company?
So crystalfoxfilms.com, and the trailer is on YouTube on our channel. I will, within the next day, I'll be putting the new trailer up on the Crystal Fox Films website, so you can see it from there. If you want to donate, participate, become a partner, or even an executive producer and help funding in any way, just reach out to us, director@crystalfoxfilms.com. And of course, we're on all social medias. We do drop clips of Sleepers, and we tag everybody that's involved. Everybody's so excited. The youth, the parents, the adults, just so many people involved. It's amazing. So our phone number is 302-399-7851. And again, director@crystalfoxfilms.com. We do also have a Sleepers email, sleepersthemovie@gmail.com, in case you want to just use that as well. But we'll drop that new trailer on on the website.
Yeah, and if you want to keep up with all the stuff and all the updates happening with Crystal Fox Films, you can find us on, like he said, all social media platforms, and also Sleepers as well. Sleepers is on some platforms, and it's on Instagram as Sleepers the Movie, and he posts lots of great clips, so check them out. They're beautiful, and it's your little glimpse at the movie, so don't be shy. Check it out.
Awesome. Well, I'm Mark.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Arianna.
I'm Trisha.
I'm Mike.
We're people.
We're making movies.
We make
Yeah.
movies. Oh, you know what? We are farmers. Don't. We are filmmakers.
Freeze frame. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so
That's a
much.
wrap.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.